Welcome to PEScience. My name is Mike, and yes, today we are going to be talking about Psyllium Husk Fiber, which means, of course, that we're going to be talking about poop. So, this isn't your video for you. You may switch on, but we are going to talk about the research behind this really interesting fiber because PEScience just put out a capsule-based version known as RegulateGI. And I wanted to go over a little bit of the research here. So, welcome to PricePlow. Before we begin, we do have an affiliate business relationship with PEScience, coupon code PricePlow. This product was sent for free. As you can see, I haven't opened it yet. And they are customers of our data mining service too. So we let PEScience know when people are selling out of RegulateGI and other things. And really quickly, let's take a quick look. Looks like just a capsule with some fiber in it. I'll show some B-roll because it's tough to get a zoom in right here. That'll just be blurry, right? Yeah. So, you know what? Might as well. Boom. So, PEScience. Oh, that was still open. There's Psyllium Husk Fiber capsules on my floor now. Let's not step on that. You give me a second. So, back to where it was. PEScience. They also sent this. I requested this. Symbiont-gi. A couple years ago, they put out this amazing gut health supplement, and it's fronted. I'm not going to get into the details. We have an article on blog.priceall.com on our blog talking about it. But basically, they use a special form of zinc that works really well with things like ulcers and everything. I don't like, and as always, with supplements not approved by the FDA. We don't like to cure, treat, or diagnose any disease. But there are a lot of research studies behind a lot of this stuff. The trick is getting the dose right. And that's where we're going to go with RegulateGI, because for some of the studies to replicate them, we would need a lot of capsules. But as we get into the Psyllium Husk Fiber, we'll talk about why we'd probably want it to be in a capsule. So anyway, they had this for a while, and then they needed to give it a little bit of a fiber partnership, and that's where RegulateGI is, and it's there to regulate your stool. So the main thing is here that we have Psyllium Husk Fiber, and it comes from a plant known as Plantago ovata. And that is, so it's also known as Plantago psyllium, and then the Psyllium Husk Fiber seeds have a lot of fiber in them. Now what's unique is that it's actually a soluble fiber. It's soluble in water, and so when it combines with water, it forms a gel. And when I was first getting into supplements in the early 2000s, Psyllium Husk Fiber is something I was adding to my smoothies. I was getting into the greens powders, and they were disgusting back then, and PEScience is a good tasting one actually. I was adding this, but over the course of time, if you let that sit there, it would just get really jelly, and it would get nasty. And it is a fiber source it's an incredible fiber source, but it's something that it makes sense that some people might just want to knock out some capsules to get it done with. And the main story here, the main way this works, is that it is a bulk laxative. Now, I'm emphasizing the word bulk because it's not necessarily really a laxative. This isn't the kind of thing you take and all of a sudden you're heading to the bathroom. But what it does instead is, as the water gets absorbed, because it is water soluble, it is going to add bulk to your stool. And what that does is it adds to the stool size and to the fecal weight. And that also makes it, by adding more water into the stool, it's also going to make it softer and easier to pass. So, I'm not a doctor, but if I'm going to play internet doctor right now, and if we were diagnosing some common stool issues, if you have the old rabbit turd problem, or even hard golf balls that are coming out and everything, and you just feel like you're just not getting enough lubrication into your stool, then adding a little bit of Psyllium Husk Fiber might help your body pull in more and just give you more substance to poop out. And that's generally the main reason that we use it. Now, obviously, we don't want to start with too high of a dose to do that, because you might not need a ton to get through. And so the dosing right here on the bottle, day 1, take 2 capsules in the morning and 2 capsules at night. I just took 2 capsules. Day 2 and on, then you can take 3 capsules in the morning and 3 capsules at night. Up to 3 capsules 3 times a day can be used. Some of the studies go even higher than that, and we'll get into a little bit of that. Each serving of 3 capsules has 1.5 grams. So each capsule is 500 milligrams of psyllium husk, and that brings us 1.3 grams of carbohydrate, 1.1 grams of dietary fiber, 1.0 grams of soluble fiber, 0.1 grams of insoluble fiber out of every 3 capsules. So that's what you're doing. You're giving yourself a little bit of a fiber boost to enable more water to get pulled in to your stool, and then hopefully make it easier to pass, have a little bit of more something to pass out too. And that's the main idea for Psyllium Husk Fiber right there. Now, what's really cool, we have a blog post. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have a link to that and everything. What's really cool is that with a lot of fibers, as people are imagining and thinking right now, oh man, that's gonna make me gassy, like flatulence is gonna be out the, yeah, it's gonna be out the butt. So what's interesting is that there was a study done. This is where we're gonna get a little bit crazy here. There was a study done with Psyllium Husk Fiber. Long story short, it actually caused less gas and less flatulence, and that is not the case with a lot of different types of fiber. This is kind of a special fiber. So in a very interesting research, a crossover study here, researchers hooked up interrectal catheters up to healthy humans. And then they did what they did, and they measured the amount of flatus that was passed through the catheter. I'm not sure how much these subjects got paid to do this test, but whatever it was, it probably wasn't enough. And they were given 30 grams of psyllium per day. So if it was going to cause gas, it was going to cause gas, and it didn't. It caused less than placebo, and that is contrary to the other types of fibers like you're talking about. So do not be worried if, and I can't guarantee this for everyone, but in general, subjects have less gas with this as well. So interesting stuff. Now, other studies have also shown that Psyllium Husk Fiber can reduce appetite. Once again, we're in like the 10 to 20 gram range, which would be a ton of capsules. And it's really, I don't think it's the best idea in terms, it's not a bad idea to like take it, but I think there's better ways of reducing appetite. However, what they noticed in the studies is that if you give someone a bunch of Psyllium Husk Fiber, 3 to 6 hours later, they don't want to eat. So it's pretty simple as that. Now, in my opinion, the better way to reducing appetite is to not eat foods that make you hungry again, such as like sugars and seed oils and all that stuff. The omega-6s, get that stuff out of there, and you're going to be a little bit less addicted to food. But that's another video for another day. However, yeah, you can kind of, if you know you're going to a pizza party, you can load up on a little bit extra Psyllium Husk Fiber 3 to 6 hours beforehand, and maybe you'll be able to get through it without succumbing to any cravings or anything. It's a strategy that can be employed, so think about it. There's good reasons to use supplements. And then one thing that you also see with a lot of different types of fibers is a better like metabolic markers in terms of a reduction of blood sugar levels, better HbA1c, and even better lipid profiles. Now, a lot of times, we can get into the whole LDL argument. I've kind of made my case on other videos way long ago and everything. But when sometimes these fibers, they only like reduce LDL, which could be cool for depending on what you need, what your health situation is. However, I am more interested in the other two things on those standard lipid panels. HDL, which we want high. That's kind of like the report card, and triglycerides, which we generally want lower. And what's interesting is that the pharmaceutical industry has a really tough time safely raising HDL levels and lowering triglycerides without killing a bunch of people. Well, but we actually see it more often than a lot of doctors realize in this dietary supplement industry. Artichoke extract's another one that could do it. Guess what? So can Psyllium Husk Fiber. And so there's been studies showing, and generally this is with a little bit of a higher dose than we're doing here. And PEScience is of course not making those claims. We're making claims, I'm not part of PEScience, but they're making basically the claims that it supports bowel regularity and unique biphasic ability for optimal results. I honestly don't know what that means, I'm sorry. But anyway, basically RegulateGI, it's here to regulate you. We're not really like chasing crazy blood sugar numbers, but these fibers do have a lot of great benefits in those aspects. And when I see HDL up, triglycerides down, to me that indicates less insulin resistance. It indicates better insulin sensitivity, and that's something that everyone should strive for. PEScience has a great line of protein powders. We should be striving for metabolic health. A lot of that starts with high protein diets. If you do carb up, and in general, this is debated, but if you do carb up, I do believe that you should also fiber up. However, if you're on a zero carb diet, then eventually your gut's going to be making more butyrate, and I don't really believe that you need a ton of fiber if you are already on a zero carb diet. However, most people are carbing up, and if your fiber is low, I think the research is pretty clear that those who eat copious amounts of carbs should also have enough fiber. And so tinkering with the fiber, getting a little bit more of the soluble fiber here that will mix with the water could be a way to help get those stools a little bit heavier, increase your fecal weight, and get it out a little easier and try to get away from the whole rabbit turd situation. So anyway, this has been a fun video. I don't have any other fun studies to talk about, but you can check out the citations on our blog post and go and look for the area that says less gas, and you can look at the interrectal catheter study if you so desires. If you so desire. I've lost my train of thought. Okay, but anyway, no, I appreciate watching. RegulateGI, if you like Psyllium Husk Fiber, this is nothing new in the dietary supplement industry, but we don't always see it in capsules often enough. We don't always want gels forming in our shaker cups or in our smoothies or getting like just thick gloppy stuff that's just not fun to swallow. Knock down a few capsules, do it up to 3 times a day and see how you do better. Happy to see any of the comments on this one. PEScience where you can sign up for the alerts because I have another video coming out talking about Immune ST. Stay tuned and subscribe. Thanks for the comments, everyone.
Welcome to Price Plow.